Hi, and welcome to the 2022 National Charter Schools Week Charter Schools Rising celebration. I'm your host. I am Debbie Vini, and I'm delighted to be with you today. We have had the most amazing National Charter Schools Week, including an amazing show of unity and parent and advocate voice in Washington, D.C. just yesterday. So for those who were able to join in that, it was really a powerful moment for our movement. And for those who weren't able to be there in person, I hope you were able to see some of the activity on social media. And I just want to thank everyone who showed up and gave their best and really elevated the voices of our movement and made us look amazing. So now it is my joy to talk with you about 10 individuals that we are honoring this year as changemakers. So my hope is that when you learn a little bit more about these amazing individuals, you'll come away filled with inspiration and encouragement as I've been. I'm absolutely awestruck by the phenomenal work of people in our movement. And it just gets better every day. So I'm going to share some of these stories, and then maybe I can move other people to want to emulate some of the fine work that we're going to see today and to take some action to make the changes that are necessary in your neighborhoods, in your communities, to keep fighting for our babies and to make sure that our schools are protected and serving everyone who needs to have access to a school like this. So I want to just talk a little bit more about who we're honoring today. So we are going to be looking at individuals who are stepping up and making a difference both for kids and for our communities. And as I said, there are 10 individuals who are going to be 2022 change makers. And these leaders, they're really unsung heroes in a lot of ways and heroines. And through their exceptional efforts, they're touching the lives of people on the ground in their communities, bringing innovation, creativity, problem solving, and joy all the time into their communities. They've proven that they go the extra mile to support their community's unique needs. And even in the face of ongoing challenges, they don't let up. They're undaunted. They just keep doing what they know needs to be done. So let's roll the video and let's see who these amazing people are. Wow. Is that not an impressive group of people? Let's all give them an applause. Great job, great job.
Congratulations to all.
So I'm blown away, as I hope you are too, because this is an exceptional group of individuals. And while they are exceptional in their own right, they absolutely personify what the charter school movement is about. There's so many heroes and heroines, unsung, unknown, who do this really, really hard work every day. So it's hard to just pick 10, but here we are. So we have with us today 3 of the change makers that we're going to get to know even better. So let's start with our change maker from the first state of Delaware. And let's please welcome Ms. Kendall Massett, who is our state director of the Charter Association in Delaware. And Kendall, as I said, is the executive director of the Delaware Charter Schools Network. And this is a nonprofit organization that supports 24 charter schools in the state of Delaware, all of them providing high quality public education to more than 15,000 students in grades K through 12. Please welcome Kendall Massett.
Hi, thank you, Debbie. I appreciate the introduction there. It is my pleasure, and I'll try not to cry, and distinct honor to introduce Melissa Tracy, a national board certified educator who teaches social studies at Odyssey Charter School in Wilmington, Delaware. The flexibility of the charter school model allowed Melissa to evolve into a cross-disciplinary educator within the past 5 years. Her food studies pathway program combines social studies and STEM, allowing her students to have a hydroponic learning lab in their classroom. Each month, students provide thousands of greens for the school and surrounding area. To date, her students have donated more than 5,000 pounds of fresh produce to individuals in need. She also teaches other schools, including a district elementary school, on how to implement their own labs and replicate the success of her program. Melissa was honored as Delaware's STEM Teacher of the Year in 2019 and as our Delaware Charter Teacher of the Year for 2020. Melissa, congratulations on being named a 2022 Changemaker.
Oh, thank you so much. It truly is an honor to just feel seen, especially during such a challenging time in education. So much of my work is really about students. It's not about my ego, but it is appreciated to be seen. And my hope is that the work that we're doing here at Odyssey Charter School will potentially inspire other community organizations and schools to pilot a similar program, because to me, that really speaks to the spirit of charter schools.
Great job and congratulations again. So, Ms. Tracy, I am a big lettuce lover. Just going to put that out there. And how many pounds of greens did you say that? Did I hear that your students are growing?
On average, if we're at full production every year, in just our hydroponic lab, we donate upwards of 3,000 pounds of leafy greens. So we grow everything from collards to chard. We grow like 30 different types of lettuce. We grow lots of different types of heirloom produce. We grow a great product and we give it to the people who have the greatest need.
That is amazing. Do you grow little gems?
We don't, no. But the students are really the ones that drive what we end up growing in the lab, and we're very intentional about getting feedback from our clients. So we provide greens to community fridges in greatly underserved communities. We provide food to local food banks and smaller organizations. We provide food to families who are currently residing in motels who have limited access to refrigeration. So we're providing this food, but then a lot of times we'll pair that with meal kits. So they're culturally relevant meal kits to make it super easy for people to eat healthy, because oftentimes when an individual or a family is food insecure, they may not have everything that they need to make a delicious meal in their food pantry. So we try to cut out all of the obstacles that might exist to prevent someone from being able to eat healthy. And throughout the entire process, we are getting anonymous feedback. So people let us know what they think of our meal kits. If a particular group really appreciates our collards, we grow more of that. It's very much driven by the people that we serve, and the students are actively a part of that whole process.
That is absolutely amazing. So for those of us like me who are not as sophisticated, can you talk me through what exactly is a hydroponic learning lab? How does that work?
It's quite simple. Essentially, we are using recycled water, LED lights to grow food indoors. I will preface this answer in that before 2017, I had absolutely no experience with gardening, like
What?
zero.
So how did you go from not knowing anything about
Zero.
gardening to growing 3,000 pounds of greens?
It started with a garden project. And Kendall Massett has been a part of this whole process. And I remember when she first came and saw a very small garden, we started with 8 raised beds and quickly realized it wasn't enough to engage our K through 12th grade population. And we quickly expanded from 8 to 36. We added vertical gardens, milk crate. And at that point, we started to have excess produce. And at around that time, we had students do a geo-inquiry project, and they were studying food deserts and the concept of food apartheid. And we asked them, well, what should we do with this? So they really drove that effort. And from there, it just became a part of what we do. Service learning is incorporated into our curriculum, and giving back to the community is at the core of what we do. So it started with outdoor gardening, more traditional raised bed gardening, and then COVID hit. And obviously there's an immense need to address food insecurity, particularly during that time period. And I thought to myself, like, what else can we do? You know, one of the limitations of growing food outdoors in Delaware is that we're limited by our season. So by November, we can't grow anything, but the need for access to nutritious food doesn't go away. And so that was really the impetus for the hydroponic gardens. I will also preface it by saying before we added a really simple system, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. It was a lot of experimentation. But then the students, I got to witness how excited the students were by interacting with the systems. It's really not that complicated. You're just repurposing water. You're trying to mimic the life cycle outside. And one of the benefits of growing food in a controlled system is that you typically can grow food quicker. You have less pest issues. And it also means that we can grow things like lettuce year round.
That is so cool. What I love is the integration, the way you're bringing in like the science part of it and learning how to grow things along with service learning. Very, very, very cool. Where'd you get this idea? When you said you never gardened, you just woke up one day and was like, I'm gonna take up gardening.
I'm a historian by training. And after we established our meager garden program, I spent a summer at the Stonebar Center for Food and Agriculture. It's located right outside of New York City. And that was the first time I was exposed to this idea of an academic discipline called food studies, which is an interdisciplinary pathway, because food is interdisciplinary. We can't study food in silos. And at that point, I realized I can't just teach kids about plant science. I also have to teach them about things like the inequities that exist in our current food system. And I find that my students derive so much more meaning from what they are doing, because they're not just learning about the parts of a plant, but they know that what they are growing is actually feeding somebody. And I'm able to share different testimonials with the students that I think have a lingering impact with them. So for example, a lot of our families, they can't get access to leafy greens. It's too expensive. They don't have refrigeration. And I remember one time a family got access to our lettuce and they just started crying because it'd been the first time in several months that they'd gotten access to just fresh food. So we can share those stories with students, which helps to make them more human. And ultimately, the hope is that they will become informed global citizens, that they're going to care about their community at large and not just their school community.
You're amazing. I'm so happy to know you. Thank you for everything that you do on behalf of your community and with your students. I have to wrap up. I got to slip one more thing in because I want to know about this. So I understand that you are now partnering with the school district and looking to scale this even more, which is pretty amazing. Can you just tell me a little bit about that?
I helped a phenomenal colleague who teaches at a district school here in our city. I assisted her with getting some funding, and we have worked side by side to develop a program for her fourth grade students. And it's been incredibly rewarding to see my 10th, 11th, and 12th grade students develop curriculum. Like they're literally teaching these younger students how do you prep seedlings, how do you transfer them, why is food safety important. So it helps to change that narrative about students who live in other parts of our community. So that piece is huge. But also the students are playing an active role in combating food insecurity by instilling in these young students the knowledge that is needed and in order to actually grow their own food.
You're just amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you for being with us today. And I'm going to thank Kendall for making us aware of you. You are pretty doggone awesome. So now I would like to talk to another awesome individual, and I'm going to invite Andrea Coleman. And I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Is that Andrea or Andrea?
You have it right that second time with Andrea.
Andrea, okay. So Andrea is going to tell us about a phenomenal change maker from the great state of Tennessee. And
All right.
I know you've worked closely with this change maker and actually at a previous charter school, if I'm not mistaken, is that right?
Yes, with Lee Public Schools previously.
Okay. And you guys work together to like do some phenomenal work with state testing growth measures, taking it from a level 1 to a level 5. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Phenomenal, phenomenal. And now you're working beside each other at a new charter school, which is
Republic Schools here in Nashville, Tennessee.
fantastic. So I invite you to introduce your change maker.
All right, everyone. Good afternoon. I do have the esteemed pleasure of introducing my close coworker friend and principal here at Nashville Prep, all the way from Nashville, Tennessee, Dr. Jeremy Sager. Our team gave him that nickname, the Phoenix, because of the transformational shifts that he's helped to create since he's joined this Republic Family School this school year. Every school day, he lives out our 5 network core values, which is to lead for racial equity, strive for excellence, create joy, become better together, and pursue growth. He demonstrates compassion, builds trust, and sets high standards in order to maintain a positive school culture and foster strong relationships among scholars, teachers, and family. Just to highlight some wins, thanks to his leadership, Nashville Prep has reached our 94% average attendance goals for all 3 quarters this school year. He brought the National Junior Honor Society, SGA, and student clubs to Nashville Prep to boost social emotional learning. Approximately 60% of our scholars in grades 5 through 8 met their math growth goals, and about 60% of our 7th graders met their literacy map growth goals during this winter benchmark. So I really want to congratulate Dr. Sager on becoming the 2022 Changemaker.
Thank you, Andrea Coleman, for your kind words. And I'm just so humbled and so thankful to be recognized for this award. It's not often that we, get presented with these types of opportunities. And I'm just thankful to have an awesome team of educators and leaders who partner with me every day to do the work that we do every day for our kids, to ensure that they get the best education while they're with us so that they're prepared to make a change in the world. That's what it's all about.
Well, Dr. Sager, congratulations again.
Thank you.
Yeah, you do a lot. You are definitely not an underachiever. I'm pretty amazed at all the work that you have done, and then the work you're doing now at Nashville Prep. So you're new at the school. And I can tell you've got a real high energy level. You kind of come in the door like, I got all these things and we're going to get it popping. We're going to do this and we're going to do that. How's that received by your team at Nashville Prep and by your students?
Well, anytime you're new to an organization, you're going to have, some skepticism, some of those who really want to know, who is this guy? What is he about? What is he going to do? What changes is he going to make? But one, you have to show people your heart. I believe that when you lead with your heart and you lead with love, you're going to get people to believe in your vision. They're going to also buy into what excellent looks like and feels like. And that's what I started with. I started with love, and I loved with action. Sometimes it's best to just smile, to ask people, how are you doing? How's your day going? And it started with having those very transparent conversations about how I lead. But the other part of it is just asking people for feedback. The best thing to do before you make any changes, one, to be very observant, but then also ask those who have been there. We've got some pillars here in our community that have been here for over 6 years. And because they play a very intricate role in the success of this school over time, they were some of the people that I went to first. And I wanted to know what's going well at this school. What would you like to see? How can we make those things happen? I need you on my team to make those things happen. And how can we increase or ensure that we get the buy-in of the entire team? And of course, that took time, but if you really want something great to happen, you're never going to lower the expectations. And it started with one, leading with love, but then also setting very high expectations for the people on my team and letting my kids know that we're going to work hard, but we're also going to play hard.
Okay.
And so that's how you create the joy for learning, celebrating the small victories along the way, and even the bigger ones, to truly show kids that it's all about what's going to happen, not just in this moment, but what's going to happen in your life once you leave middle school, high school, and go on to college and beyond.
Now, I want to dig down deeper on something. So I heard about the phenomenal academic achievement that you saw specifically with your 6th and 7th graders this year. But to give me some context, where did you start from? What was your benchmark before you got up to like 60%?
I would like to say that the benchmark was for us to at least be at 35 to 40% at that goal.
Wow.
And I'm a very competitive person.
I'm picking this up. Yeah.
I'm very competitive, and I'm always pushing my people to go to the next level. And so personally, one of the things that I've recently achieved is confirm my doctoral degree. And so people ask me, well, you finished, this is your terminal degree. What are you going to do now? I'm setting a new goal. I believe as long as you're breathing, you're still alive, you've got to set the next expectation for yourself. And so like what I tell my kids is like, yes, we've reached this goal, but guess what? We're going to the next level. And so we're not going to rest until the very last day of school. We just wrapped up our 10 ready state assessments, and we do have another round of MAP assessments coming up. And very quickly, not even getting fully out of the state testing window, I started talking about MAP and the goals that we're setting to make sure that our kids reach their goals. And so my thing is, I've taught my team, I've taught my teachers, I've taught my students is that you always have a goal, because you're always going to go to the next level. You never settle. You want to make sure that you remain innovative, and that you also are a light in the community within the community that you serve. And so I think it's really important that students know the importance of setting goals, high expectations, and not allowing yourself to just plateau over time. Always reach for the stars.
You certainly lead by example with that. And I love the phrase you use, that you lead with love. That's beautiful. And I think something that we can all take with us. Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you for everything that you do for your team and for the students in your school. We are so lucky to have you and educators like you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, it is my honor to introduce Ms. Maria Cordero, who is going to introduce our next change maker, who hails from the great state of Connecticut.
Hi, everyone. Hey, Gwen. Well, what can I say about this beautiful person? She's a light in my life. Known her for so many years. We've been through so much together for many, many years. Ins and outs. Well, here it goes. Gwen Samuels, an education and social justice advocate. Gwen founded 3 Connecticut-based organizations: the Connecticut Parents Union, CTPU, the State of Black Connecticut Alliance, and the Meriden Kids Walk Safe Coalition, Safe Route to School Initiative. Driven by her motivations as a parent, she has also helped parent empowerment bills become state law, including a bill inspired by California's law, including the Parent Trigger Law, which I was part of that too with her. So it was really awesome, which requires low performing schools in Connecticut to implement parent school governance councils. Gwen also helped influence a law preventing felony arrests of parents who enrolled their students in schools outside of their zip code. In 2017, Gwen launched the Parent Lead Workshop, Urban Experience in Family and Community Engagement, providing educators and school leaders with tools and strategies to build sustainable relationships with diverse parents, families, and marginalized communities in the educational system. Gwen believes all children deserve access to safe, quality educational experience, regardless of school model. And that is a fact. She is very passionate, and I am definitely very proud of her and proud to introduce her and wish her congratulations of being named a 2022 Changemaker. Love you.
Congratulations, Gwen.
Thank you so very much.
So you've done a lot, to put it mildly. And I think you've got some new endeavors, actually, in addition to the things you've done already. Maybe you want to tell us about what you're up to like right now and your aspirations this year.
So first, I want to give everybody a fun fact. I am a traditional school parent, right? I remember when I first heard about charters, and I was like, I only knew traditional schools. That's all we're taught. And so to answer your questions first, my endeavors are, I'm going for my master's, ladies and gentlemen. Back in school, matter of fact, I had to leave the great charter rally, the parent rally in DC, to run back up to the room to get my quiz in. And I have to give a shout out to all the students and parents who did remote learning, because I'm doing online learning for the first time. And I have a newfound respect for schooling at home when I'm trying to log into Canvases and Blackboards and all of this here. And I got it in and I got 100. So let's keep that going. So I'm in the master's program for public administration with a sub of law and public policy. Because as a parent leader, you can only kumbaya, you can only march, you can only wear t-shirts for so long. And at some point, we have to look at the intersection of the laws that are oppressing our students from not gaining that access. And so, I dedicate this award to all the change makers, to all the unsung heroes, to all the mom and pops that many of us do not know, that cry every night trying to figure out what they're going to do to help these babies, right? Because our children deserve fair access to an opportunity. And I'm just glad to be able to sit still long enough to appreciate an award, because the attacks on families are not supposed to be like this.
Mhm.
And so I had to pull, I'm in New Jersey now. Shout out to my girlfriend, Cynthia Bennett. She's like, I'm gonna get you at my house, just park it in the kitchen. I'm gonna get you online. So again, I appreciate this honor. Um, you know, but for those who don't know me, I didn't start as a parent advocate for education per se. I was a parent for safe routes to school because I had babies walking across highway ramps trying to get to school. If you can't get to school safely, I don't know how you're going to learn, how you're going to get there to even learn. Right. So I started my journey with the Meriden Kids Walk Safe, which was my town's first pedestrian safety for children. And that's how Mia Maria came along. This is my ride or die Latina sister. She calls me day or night. Look, some of y'all got budgets for translators. I got Maria, okay? Because I don't have no money. We are all volunteer, nothing but time sacrifice. But I will tell you, yes, it's hard being an all volunteer organization. And we are currently looking at our structure to try to get paid. I'm too old to be doing this. I love you, Dr. Jeremy. I've done this so much for love, but the light bill saying, Miss Sam, you still need to pay your light bill. So I need to figure all this out. I'm trying to still connect these dots. But I will tell you, I don't negotiate, and none of us should be negotiating when it comes to protecting these children's educational rights, number one. And number two, you don't get to negotiate and create parents and families as afterthoughts when it comes to these children. You have to work in lockstep. I am excited by this lineup. You have educators here. You have Dr. Jeremy, he's leading by example, right? You have Maria, the brown community, as we call Black and brown, right? The Latino community. We all must become one for these babies so we can lift all boats. And it has nothing to do with school models. And I know you got some questions for me. I think you do. So I'm gonna close right now.
No, you're amazing. And every time I talk to you, I learn more and I'm more inspired by the work that you do. I was going to ask you how you got involved in parent advocacy, but you told me that, so that's good. I mean, what I would like to know, because you were at the parent rally in Washington, D.C. yesterday, you shut down the house. You were our last speaker at the press conference, which was amazing. But I would like to get your reactions on how it felt to be in that place in front of the White House with nearly 1,000 parents and advocates.
So I will tell you, the blessing was being with the parents and advocates for across the country. But my heart was heavy because the White House, the president of the whole United States of America, must protect all America's students, regardless of school model. Let's start there. Number two, Maria and I both know personally, not third party, one-off, Secretary Miguel Cardona, who we love. So I want to be for the record, we love him dearly. And one of my concerns was, please, sir, don't lose your soul when you get up there. Mm-hmm. And yet we are up there for the wrong reason. We should have been rallying, celebrating getting our kids back in the classrooms, making sure we have summer programs, after school programs, before school programs, make sure we got family supports so that parents can support their children more effectively because the government is not the parent. So I was happy to meet all the amazing people, but I was unhappy of why I was there. Mm-hmm. Because it is non-negotiable to stand for America's children. And charter children, students, babies, families are America's students, babies, and families. We got families we're trying to keep safe, keep them off the street, keep predators away from our kids, keep gangs away from our kids, keep human traffickers away from our kids. And we having a discussion about school models when what I think what we really are saying, which I know what they're saying, is about accountability. Mm-hmm. It's about ensuring every public institution that receives public tax dollars must be held accountable to the children that they serve. And the bottom line is all children are individuals. So they have individuals learning style. I am an individual parent. If you try to box me, I was a traditional parent, it worked for me. But if I could have had a charter or an other school option for my child, I would have taken it. It just wasn't available. And then the attacks, people don't realize we became the Connecticut Parents Union, not because we wanted to do kumbaya and hold hands and all of that. It's because they were attacking parents. And you can't come for parents about other people's children. These are other people's children. And despite what you may think about poor parents or Black parents or Latino parents or whatever color parent they are still the parent. And you're so busy judging us. How about teaching us what we need to know so we can keep it moving? It is more cost effective to work with the family to support these children. But I'm going to say to anyone who's listening, if you come for a charter student, if you come for any child, you should be coming for all of us, because we are all in this together to make sure that our future workforce, that ain't a soundbite, they are literally the future workforce. And they are either going to be taxpayers or tax burdens. You tell me what you want. They can either help build your house through a trade or they can help rob your house. You tell me which one you want. And nobody wants to have these conversations. I'm sorry. I love you all. Thank
We
you.
love you right back. Do you see what a firebrand this woman is? Gosh, we love you right back. Thank you for
Love you.
everything you do.
Yes,
Thank
and
you.
lastly, I dedicate this to my 2 children in heaven. I think they saw me cry so much. I lost 2 fatal kids, 2 children in a fatal car accident. 2016, I'll never understand that. And then last year, and now I got grandbabies that I need to be paying attention to. And they always saw me struggle. They always saw me with the lights off, trying to do. I want them to know that the investment, these are the returns. These are the returns, building the next change makers. I ain't trying to be some old soul trying to hold the baton. I ain't got no problem passing the baton to the next generation to lead our communities to self-governance. So again, thank you. And to Jamel and Quentin in heaven, mommy loves you much. And I would say to all you parents, I don't care what you're going through. When you know better, you will do better. But you must never give up on your children. If you need help, go get help. If you need support, go get those supports. And yes, we got pride, but the streets want your babies. So you either swallow your pride, handle your business, and handle your business for your babies, or the streets got something for them. And that's real talk. Thank you again for this award, and I am honored, and I love you all.
Thank you, Gwen, and congratulations.
Thank you.
I am now going to switch us over to another part of our program. These change makers are phenomenal, and that is amazing. But guess what? There's more. So we also have our charter champions. These are lawmakers who were brave, courageous, did what needed to be done in state houses and in our federal government to ensure that charter schools remain viable, that we have the funding that we need, that we are treated fairly, and that we get the respect that we need to have. So I now would like you to meet these champions for charter schools, not literally on this Zoom, but we've got a message from our CEO, and she's going to share and tell you about who these phenomenal lawmakers are, who are creating conditions on the ground in so many states and also on Capitol Hill to help our schools to survive and thrive and grow.
Thank you for joining today's webinar. We are grateful for the work that you do every single day for charter school students and for our movement. I particularly want to acknowledge our change makers who continue to go above and beyond. We love your passion, your energy, and your commitment, and we are so grateful for the many ways you lift up the students in your communities. We need passionate supporters and activists now more than ever. The past few months have been challenging for charter schools, and more challenges lay ahead. People who oppose charter schools are well-funded and well-connected. They have the ear of key policymakers in Congress and the administration, and they flexed their muscles. First, they tried to cut our funding. In fact, the charter schools program was the only education program designated for a cut by the US House of Representatives in 2022. But we fought that effort and won, rallying everyone here today and tens of thousands of our supporters around the country. Then the US Department of Education proposed new rules for the charter schools program that would chill charter school creation across America. Again, we rallied our armies of supporters and told the department how harmful these proposed rules would be. We haven't heard a final answer yet, but I'm very proud of how our movement came together to fight for students. Now we're in another appropriations cycle, and we're once again fighting to grow funding for the charter schools program. As we fight these battles, We're honored and grateful to have the support of lawmakers from both parties in DC and in the states who understand the value of charter schools. And I want to take a few minutes to thank these leaders for their support. First, let me say a few words about our state charter champions. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds spearheaded the effort to reform her state's charter school law to help more charter schools open while ensuring quality and accountability. Thanks to her efforts, Iowa was the most improved state in this year's charter schools rankings. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine has consistently supported efforts to improve Ohio's charter school environment, increase facilities funding, and most recently, remove restrictions on where charter schools can operate. He's brought more opportunity to students across the Buckeye State. Hawaii Lieutenant Governor Josh Green is a medical doctor and charter school parent who fights for equitable funding for public charter schools. He's one of the growing number of policymakers who have direct experience with charter schools. New Mexico State Senator Saya Correa Hemphill and State Representative Catherine Brown, both of whom have worked directly with charter schools, sponsored a new law that created a $10 million charter school facility loan fund and standardized the amount of facilities funding provided to charter schools, correcting one of the biggest inequities many charter schools face. Wyoming State Senators Ogden Driscoll, Affie Ellis, and Charles Scott led Wyoming's successful efforts to create a statewide authorizer to ensure accountability and bring more transparency to the application process. South Dakota State Senate Minority Leader Troy Heinert is a member of the Rosebud Sioux tribe and former elementary school teacher. Leader Heinert is a fierce defender of culturally affirming educational opportunities and sponsored legislation to create charter schools focused on Indigenous language and culture. Kentucky House Majority Whip Chad McCoy led passage of a landmark bill that provides a permanent funding mechanism for charter schools in the Bluegrass State. Kentucky has been one of only 7 states in the nation without any operating charter schools, but that's about to change thanks to Representative McCoy and his colleagues. I also want to acknowledge our biggest champions in Congress. Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana recently led the charge to push back against the Department of Education's harmful charter schools program regulations. As a member of the Senate's Education Committee, he regularly sponsors legislation to bring greater opportunity to students in Louisiana and across the state. Senator Brian Schatz of Hawaii has signed on to our request for more charter schools program funding every year for the last 4 years running. Representing a diverse state far from our nation's capital, he understands the importance of allowing new and culturally responsive school models to flourish. Representative Sanford Bishop of Georgia is a member of the Congressional Black Caucus with a deep appreciation for the impact charter schools have made in communities of color. As a member of the House Appropriations Committee, Representative Bishop courageously intervened with his own committee leadership to fight for fair funding for charter schools. Representative John Molinar of Michigan is the chair of the House School Choice Caucus. As a member of the subcommittee responsible for education appropriations, he was a point person in the effort to defend the charter schools program in the House last year. Representative Richie Torres of New York is this year's rising star. Throughout his work with Success Academy, Representative Torres knows how a great charter school can change a student's life. As leader of the Public School Caucus in the House, he promotes charter schools as an essential part of the public education landscape. He is a powerful voice for students, and we look forward to working with him for many years to come. And finally, our Lifetime Achievement Award goes to Senator Roy Blunt of Missouri, who has been a tireless charter school supporter throughout his service in the U.S. House and Senate. Most recently, as ranking member of the Senate subcommittee responsible for charter schools program funding, Senator Blunt has gone to bat again and again to increase funding for high-quality charter schools. Simply put, without Roy Blunt's leadership, many fewer children would have the opportunity to attend the charter school of their choice. We are immensely grateful to Senator Blunt for his decades of service and support, and we will miss him when he retires at the end of this term. These leaders light the way for their colleagues in Congress and in state houses to bring more educational opportunity to students across America. Their vision and commitment make our success and our growth possible. While we still face a powerful opposition, I'm confident that we will continue to deliver major victories for charter school students, thanks to our charter school champions, our change makers, and all of you joining us today. Thank you.
And thank you, Nina. I'll echo the thanks to all of our change makers and our charter school champions, and underscore that we have a bipartisan group of lawmakers who support the work that we are doing. It is true that we have some fighting that we have to do to make sure that we protect our children, but we have a lot to celebrate. And I want to make sure that I underscore that. There's a lot to be proud of and a lot to celebrate. And our schools are making a difference. We know this because we could see the fantastic results at schools around the country. And we also know that parents are voting with their feet and they are choosing these schools in record numbers. So yes, we've got opponents, but we've got a lot more supporters. And we've got a lot more families who are depending on us to keep fighting for them and for their children's right to have a high quality public education. And with that, we're getting close to being out of time. So I'm gonna wrap this up, but I want to say happy Charter Schools Week to everyone. And I want to ask you to remember that tomorrow is our last day of National Charter Schools Week. And what we're going to do on Friday is show our charter love. So please get yourself on the Twitters and let's show some charter love. We want to see pictures of all the beautiful families and kids in schools, and we want make your own videos, have fun, do whatever you want to do, but remember that this is our week to celebrate our special schools in the community that we have, which is so strong and so powerful. Love to all of you. Thank you for joining us today, and thanks again to all of our honorees. Take care.